The Spanish announce table.
Episode 395 of the Spanish Announce Table. Tom, we just finished AEW Dynamite's Quake by the Lake, which was, what was this, Minnesota? Am I remembering this correctly?
The Twin Cities.
Right, which is not the Mistake by the Lake, which was Cleveland, which is where Raw was this week. And more on that later, right? But we love to get into AEW Dynamite, which, by the way, because we're cool.
And love you, Justin.
We are. Justin Summers, great friend of the show. Check out his TikToks and his podcast. But because we love AEW Dynamite and AEW so much, we decided, also because we're ballers, that we're going to go to All Out this year. So I'm super excited for that. Hit us up.
I think we got tickets to all three events. Now, if we go to all three, we'll see. I don't know what I bought, but I know for sure we're going to All Out. We might be going to Rampage. We might be going to Dynamite. We might only go to All Out, but we're going to be at the Now Arena for sure on Sunday night, September 4th in the great state of Illinois. And we are going to be talking and watching some AEW. So if you're in the area or if you're going into the area to watch that event, come find us. We'll probably have our Spanish Announce Table t-shirts on. We'll be talking to you. We got TikToks coming. We got live tweets coming. We got YouTubes coming. So be sure to be into all of our social media channels. And it is going to be such a great time. I am so excited, especially after the ending of this AEW Dynamite episode and what could be foreshadowing the main event for All Out. But we'll get to that in due time. Tim, like you said, we just got done with AEW Dynamite. You want to talk about it?
I do want to talk about it. Sorry, I was checking on the live streams over here. And speaking of the live streams, that's YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter simul streaming. Maybe not on the Twitter right now. That's what I was checking out. That's why I was a little preoccupied. You know what? But you know what?
Hey, even Babe Ruth struck.
Who the hell
out.
watches the Twitter live stream anyway? Watches on the YouTube and Twitch.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm telling you what, Tim. Everyone's watching us on the Twitter and YouTube stream. We are on the road to 100,000. Now, what that exact number is, you don't need to know, but we are on the road to 100,000 live streamers, live people interacting with us, and we're excited about that. But let's talk about AEW Dynamite Quake by the Lake, and it kicked off with the coffin match. Huh?
Yeah, starting off with the spooky stuff. I love it.
Brody King taking on Darby Allin. Full disclosure, I thought this was going to be the main event. I thought because of the spookiness and a coffin, I thought that like coffin shutting would be how we ended the episode. And I thought we were going to kick off with the title match just because it was Moxley and Jericho. I didn't think there was going to be a title change. So I thought spookiness would win. I was wrong. But yeah, coffin match, Darby Allin, Brody King. We got to see it. There was a lot of violence, some blood, especially from Brody King, some spookiness, as you mentioned. What else did you think about this match?
There was a lot of blood from Brody King. I thought they did really well in this match, though. I thought all of their timing went well. There wasn't a whole lot of lull. There wasn't these rest spots. And they did all the flips and shit, got everything in without having too much of the, what I always argue is the stand up and wait because I stood up before you were ready to jump kind of thing. I thought they pulled that off exceptionally well for a gimmick match like this. And that ending, look, you only have one chance to stick that ending, and they did it well. Loved it.
I thought it was really done well. I thought all parties did really well because, we had the lights go out. We had the rest of the House of Black, which we'll talk about in a little bit later from a promo from Miro. But we had the House of Black up here. Then they go to the coffin because they think they're going to throw Darby Allin in there. And guess who's in there? It's fucking Sting with all of his makeup still on. Remember the last time he was in a enclosure and had to wait there for a while? He was waiting on Seth Rollins and Triple H to unveil the statue, and some of his makeup had gone away. Stinks. But not this time because it's AEW. And in AEW, Sting doesn't miss. And I wanted to read really quick something about that because our good friend, where is it at here? As I kind of bias some time
on the Twitter, our good
Devil
friend
Vamp. Yeah, no, our good friend at Devil Vamp.
Oh, Devil
he
Vamp.
says Where is it?
This is
Oh, here it
great
is.
radio.
Oh, hey, hashtag. Here he goes. At Devil Vamp says, still don't understand the Sting thing, but I thought the ending was good. Saw the setup for a mile. Sting is overrated. Always has been. Good match. Hashtag AEW Dynamite. Hashtag tweet the table. And Devil Vamp, you're wrong.
I like that he was like, your breath smells bad. Your mother was a whore. You're ugly.
But you're a good driver.
Good match.
Yeah. So here's the thing. You're wrong. Sting has never been overrated. Maybe he was overused towards the tail end of WCW, but let's all be honest, no one was watching. Maybe he was being a little bit too heavily pushed in TNA, but again, nobody was watching. The two most prominent times in his career, early WCW to middle of WCW when Hulk Hogan comes, and then WWE and AEW, he's been properly where he's been needing to be at. Now, again, the Seth Rollins match with the title thing, that was an injury. No one could have planned for that. So let's excuse that for real circumstances. But his AEW run, it's not as if he's got any title shots or that he's done, any shenanigans to cost people matches. He's just been the old guy that's been guiding Darby Allin's career. And then if you want to step up, he's going to say, run with it or run from it, motherfucker, and have a baseball bat and says, who wants some? So, why do you hate on that? That's great. That's fun. It's old man energy. I'm getting older. Father time is coming for me too. So I love Sting a little bit more. Fucking Sting's great.
Yeah.
Who doesn't love a Stinger splash?
Tweet us your thoughts on Sting with hashtag tweet the table. Maybe we'll read them on next week's show.
Yeah. And who doesn't love the Stinger splash? Seriously. The Stinger splash is one of the coolest moves. When he was in his prime, really doing it, and you hear it was so fucking cool. Yes.
Yes, it was great 30 years ago.
Hey, you know what? So was the Mustang, and got plenty of those motherfuckers on the road too. So you know what I mean?
Might have been great 30 years ago also.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, who knows? So anyhow, at Devil Vamp thought it was a good match, which it was. But he is wrong on all other accounts. But so we don't kind of spoil the lead here. Darby Allin wins the match. He chokes Brody King from the ring. Brody King goes unconscious, falls onto the ring, then falls into the coffin. Darby Allin is your winner. So what happens here? Because we did see Sting, as I mentioned. You saw the one eye missed thing that he's now also playing into, but it didn't seem like he was necessarily affected by that. He did all the Sting, tropes where he throws the bat to Malachi Black. Malachi Black doesn't necessarily like that. So he says, not on your terms, pal. What do you think about the Sting that we saw? And what do you think about the fallout from this coffin match?
Yeah, I wish we would have got something with an inkling of anything leading to spooky Sting, right? Like something. I wouldn't mind Sting being a heel oracle for the House of Black, right? Like give us something cool, and we have time to get there. You know what I mean? And if anybody,
kind of thing, right?
If anybody, it takes a little longer to affect. I mean, you're gonna say Sting, sure, fine, whatever, right? Like, okay,
right. Yeah, good call. Yeah, right. If anyone on the AEW roster could maybe withstand spookiness, it's the guy who's seen, the dungeon and all other types of spooky characters in WCW, Vampiro, all those likes. So yeah, he might say I can withhold for another 2 months, but then the power's too much. He stands with the House of Black.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. Check out the YouTube chat, by the way, though. Theo75 did remind us, he said Father Time is coming for T-Mac by clipping the back of his knees. So watch out for that one.
I don't have any knees. They're filled with arthritis.
Already been clipped. Yeah.
Yeah, boy.
And Katie First Lady.
Go ahead. I got no MCLs. Ha ha ha.
Yeah. What's Father Time gonna do? Katie First Lady says Happy Punk is back. First time in a long while. I'm enjoying both WWE and AEW. I hope to keep it going, or I hope to keep loving it, each week. Both need to keep bringing their best. And yeah, we're going to get into that Punk return in a little bit. Crazy
Oh
talk.
yeah, we're gonna go in chronological order, but we'll get
we
there.
encourage you all to hop in the chats, Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, get on it. Oh, and you can listen to the podcast too. But you'll wish you were with us live.
Oh, it's more fun when you're with us live.
Yeah.
Let's get back to
we're better in person. I mean, honestly.
Really. Let's get back to AEW Dynamite here. So backstage, we get dueling promos. Jon Moxley essentially just says, Jericho, I'm going to kick your ass. Now, one thing that foreshadowed, potentially now looking back, hindsight's 2020, is that Jon Moxley said, I'm tired of calling this belt the interim championship. Which then, again, fast forward, like Katie said, we saw CM Punk. I thought that was a cool detail now knowing what we know at the end of the show, right? Chris Jericho, he does his promo. He says he's the Lionheart. That's fine. He looked more like the Lionheart than he ever has in recent memory.
Did they do a TikTok filter on this guy to make him look younger all of a sudden? What was going on here? What did we do?
I tell you what.
Camera trickery?
I tell you what. Chris Jericho hasn't met an enhancement he hasn't loved. And so whatever it was this week, he did it.
You know what I mean? Get like a whole face Botox just for this.
Oh, and that body, he has to get his abs stapled. It's so weird what he's doing to his torso. I mean, God bless him. He looks great, but it's so weird that it was that quick. And then at that age,
it keeps getting whiter. It keeps looking more, you know what I mean? Like a parallelogram. Like,
yeah, it looks like a griddle that just broke. You know what I mean? Like he pressed it down, but then it slid a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it looks like to me. Let's get back into the in-ring action. We get a tornado tag team match. Lucha Bros versus Andrade and Roosh. This, Tim, I thought was the first bad match, in my opinion, from the Lucha Bros. Lucha Bros typically, this one, there was a lot of pinning them. Yeah, this one, there's a lot of, I'm going to pin him. Oh, wait a minute, we forgot a move. So let me get up. Then let me hit that move. Then let me pin him. But that was a kick out. There was some whistling to like, hey, remember, get over here. Oh, yeah, sorry, I'm over here. And the finish. Look, I said this on our Twitter at Table Show. Again, we live tweet during AEW Dynamite and Rampage. But at what point are we going to just call Penta stupid for all this mask stuff? Like, you have to, what did you say before we recorded? He has to like put a bike lock
let's get
on
a bike lock on that shit or something. Like, right?
Something,
can't we get something that somebody can't rip off of your face easily?
Yeah, because, and here's the other thing. To the best of my knowledge, now maybe it's happened before and I just can't recall it right now, but we don't fact check. But I can't think of this happening to Rey Fenix. Seems like it always happens to Penta. And hey, brother, you're costing a lot of matches for the Lucha Bros. So maybe re-examine kind of what you're doing in the ring, because you're kind of looking like a goof. Now, if, breaking kayfabe here for a second, how about we just try something different, right? Let's just not do the mask thing when we get stuck in a corner of like, how do we get out of here? Well, the mask. Well, that's okay. Then it's like they didn't really beat us. And it's like, man, come on, right? Because the Young Bucks did it. I think FTR did it. Now Andrade and Roosh did it. There's some other ones in there that I'm probably forgetting, but the match was a little bit sloppy. Felt like there were some spots that were missed. And then on top of that, the finish was unoriginal and kind of uninspiring.
Yeah, and I just am, I know we keep saying it, so I don't want to keep harping on it and sound like a broken record, but I'm tired of this. ROH is just here, and they're just going to wrestle some of these matches. Like, it's not a story that.
Well, here's the
intriguing.
thing for me. Yeah. Here's the thing for me, though. Andrade, you got to do something now. You can't just say, I got money and then I wrestle. And on top of that, how about diversify your opponents? Feels like the only people you're wrestling are other Mexican wrestlers. And I'm not saying you shouldn't wrestle other Mexican wrestlers, but what I am saying is there's a whole other roster. Why don't you wrestle, I don't know, Claudio? Why don't you wrestle Jay Lethal, Eddie Kingston? Like, it just feels like Andrade stays with the Mexican wrestlers. Now, I know he had the match with Cody, and there are examples that we can point to, but for the bulk of his AEW career, it's just other luchadors. And that just says to me, like, we don't want to play with others, right? It kind of feels like the Young Bucks, where they like to do their stuff with their friends, but they're not really going to mess with Powerhouse Hobbs because we just don't know him. So we're going to stick with Hangman. Speaking of, the next segment, we go backstage. Young Bucks are saying, hey, Cutler, film this because you're going to love it. We're going to get this documented for the world. They walk into the locker room. Hangman's hanging out with his buddies, the Dark Order. And the Young Bucks, pour out their heart, give their remorseful, teary apology for all the bad things that they did with Hangman. And it seemed legit. It didn't seem like there was ulterior motives there. And then towards the end, Matt Jackson, I learned his name, Young Buck 2, he says, hey, Hangman, why don't you join us for this trios match, this trios tournament? And Hangman, all the while grinning, kind of agreeing that the best times were when they were together. And so when the question's asked to Hangman, he gives them a big old fuck you. And he says, I ain't going to do it. What'd you think, Tim?
Matt Jackson is Young Buck 1. He's the primary Young Buck.
Is he? I like the other one.
Oh, I mean, that aside, like I always fact like the lead Young Buck to me.
Oh, I always just went with who I like more. Like the Young Buck 1 is in the number 1 spot. The Young Buck 2, and fuck him. So interesting. Now look at that. We figured out our numbering system. I like that. That's good.
Yeah.
More you know.
I like this segment though. This is an interesting wrinkle, right? Are you boxing somebody over there? What are you?
There's a big ass buck. I was gonna have to. I thought I was have to kill something on air. Go ahead.
Look,
I'm listening.
we're in the same room, right? Magic television. Like, oh yeah, I see the bug. Look, yeah. It's right there. It's right. Yeah, okay. Did you get it?
No.
Anybody listening to podcasts hates this segment. Well, while Tom freaks out about that, no, I like this segment a lot. I like that Hangman is able to kind of be like, hey, I knew this was coming. First of all, Young Buck 1 gives the romantic comedy speech of this storyline, right? The like, I know I fucked up, but it was always you, right? Like that speech, loved it. And I love that Hangman has made his peace and moved on, right? Like he's not clamoring for the attention of these guys. And so he's like, hey, listen, appreciate your words and your things, and that's cool. But like, this is their deal. And, I'm backing them, and that's got to take more precedence. Now, the Young Bucks were hurt. They didn't seem angered, right? But they were hurt, right?
Well, yeah. And like you said, the reasoning was, hey, during that time period, you did leave me, and they didn't. So I have to be loyal to who was there when times were tough. And that's an admirable thing.
It's the face move.
Well, I want to take a quick sidebar, and I want to jump over to the WWE, and then we're going to get back into AEW. But this leads into a perfect example of what baby faces do in 2022. So I'm going to jump over real quick to Ronda Rousey versus Liv Morgan, their match at SummerSlam. And Ronda Rousey has the armbar, but her shoulders are down. Liv Morgan taps before the 3. The ref says, hey, actually, the 3 count, that's what I saw. That's what wins. The babyface move is to own up to what actually happened.
Restart
but
this
Liv
match.
Morgan, Liv Morgan took the cheap way out, raised the title, walked out. I'm still champion. And thus, the next time she's on TV, she's getting booed out of the building because that's not what a babyface does. So here, going back to AEW, if Hangman just goes, yeah, man, Young Bucks, those were the best times. Let's jump on that horse and win these trio titles. As a babyface, we'd go like, no, you're a dickhead. You're just a front runner with whoever the coolest guys are. And so you're not even loyal to any of your friends. This, what Hangman did tonight, is how you book baby
This
faces.
warms our hearts.
Yes, this is how they don't get booed the next time you see them.
Yeah.
So
yes, well,
take note.
And
Triple
so we
H.
have so many ways to go here, right? We have a potential return from Kenny Omega to muddy the waters. The angle I would like to see is the Young Bucks have asked Hangman, come do this, right? Come be our third. Hangman says, can't, because when you guys weren't there, they were here, and now I'm here for them. This is their spot. I can't go against them. The Dark Order's got to be like, we appreciate that, but like, we don't want to hold you back as well. So like, thank you, and that means a lot, right? But like, you also deserve a chance, and don't let us get in the way, and you guys go get it. And then in the finals, who's meeting up, right? Dark Order and the Hung Bucks, and the Hung Bucks win. And then the Dark Order's like, oh man, fuck, right? Like, and Hangman even kind of feels bad, right? And then there's that, right? Like, he did the face thing, but now we feel bad for the Dark Order again, right? Like, subtlety there would be good. The Kenny Omega thing is going to be good. What and when? I don't think this happened anytime soon, but when did we get the Brandon Cutler moment? Right? Like,
I don't know, because that's what I was going to say. We leave this segment with Brandon Cutler saying, hey, Young Bucks, I think he was talking about me. And they're like, shut up, cut the shit, Jade Cargill. But like, turn the camera off. It's not you. Eventually, there does have to be a moment where
either
Brandon Cutler
heals them over, or when they're heels again, he gets a big face moment. He's got to get one over on these guys, right?
I think it needs to be when the Young Bucks are down and out and all is lost and the world is crumbling around them. Brandon Cutler throws the camera to the side and then stands up and is this beacon of light for the elite. And they're like, oh shit, you were always the chosen one. And he's like, you're fucking right. That could be the moment where he's the fucking man in the elite. I don't think that happens next week, but
pulling
yeah, it
down
would
the
be
TNT
cool
title or something when they're all losing everything. Yeah, and they're all like, fucking, he's got this belt, and he's like, what's up, guys? And they're like, fuck, what? What is happening?
Yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah, that would be great. So I do like what you proposed, though. Dark Order meets Hung Bucks in the finals of this trios tournament. And I think it would be even better if, through circumstances, Hangman is the one who has to make the cover. Like, he's like, I'm the legal man. Evil Uno's unconscious. Yeah, whatever it is. Yeah. And then he goes 1, 2, 3. And then does like the Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels WrestleMania moment. And he just holds his head and they cry together. That would be so much fun. Oh, that would be great.
Yes.
But we'll see what happens. Now, percentage. I want a percentage from you. What's the percent we see Kenny Omega as the third person in this tag team?
Man, this one's hard because I don't even know. I haven't been paying attention to any dirt sheets or anything, so I don't know.
That's stupid
in that regard, right?
Yeah.
Storyline wise, I feel like it feels like 100%. But I'll say, because it's pro wrestling, I'm going to give it a 73.29% chance.
Oh, Tim, I love when we do our fantasy booking here. I don't know if the audience does, but I love it. It seems like you have fun with it.
It's our show.
Yeah, it's our show.
Ah!
Tell me what you think about this. It is Kenny Omega, right? Kenny Omega is the third person. Oh my God. The super elite or whatever the fuck they're calling themselves. They are the trios. Like, they're going to obviously win this tournament. Dark Order wins their first round match, but in doing so, let's say it's Evil Uno. Hurts his knee, blows out his ACL. He can't continue in this tournament anymore. Hangman inserts himself in the Dark Order. Now it's Hangman 10, Johnny Hungy. And then we get Dark Order Hangman versus Super Elite. Then we get some fun under layers. You can peel this onion back 15 times.
They profess their like sorrowing words of bro love to the Hangman, and now here's Kenny Omega, who's probably still like, fuck that guy.
Exactly. Yeah, that guy sucks. And guess what? Oh, and here's the thing that would be even more fun. Oh God, this is when storytelling's fun because you never know where it can go, and there's so many possibilities that I love them all. Here's the other thing: Kenny Omega does show up. They win their first round match, but they take a couple weeks to do their second round match, right? Kenny Omega says, "Hey, prove your allegiance to me, motherfuckers. You guys screwed me over in that title match. Go tell Hangman he's a piece of shit." Like he's making them be heels to where he's bullying them around because it's like, no, I did watch that match while I was recovering and I saw you guys not stand up for me. So now you stand up against him for me. And they're like, oh shit, right? That would be fun. The other fun possibility,
heads, right? Like, yeah, look, he already left you. If you want any friends,
you come with the guy who makes you the most money. The only guy
who's giving you a friendship line here.
Yeah. Now, here's the other thing, though. Possibility that next week, Young Bucks, we couldn't find a tag partner. We couldn't find a tag partner. So, they're going. Towards the end, Hangman does run down, gets on that apron, gets the tag, does the buckshot lariat. They all hug. And then he looks to the Dark Order and he's like, I'm sorry. Huh? What happens there? You like that possibility?
Too. I like that too. Yeah, anything that would continue this like ever flowing. Well, who's friends with who, man? You my friend or you their friend? Are you my friend or you their friend? It's so high school, but that's why it so works, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, more high school drama in pro wrestling is entertaining because let's all be honest with ourselves. In high school, if it wasn't you, that drama was entertaining. Mm-hmm. So like have it in pro wrestling. I think it's great. All right, let's get back on track. Next up, we had a squash match. Luchasaurus, one-way traffic, just runs through Anthony Henry, which good to see friend of the show, JD Drake, outside in the corner for Anthony Henry, but this last less than a minute. Could have mentioned his fucking
name, though. Put some respect on that name.
I know. And, again, who's friends with who's? I thought JD Drake was in the Hunks, the Vax Wax and Hot Boy Summer.
Is that a thing anymore?
The Wingmen. That's who I'm talking about. I don't know. I hope so.
God, that was so
I loved
good.
them.
Loved the Wingman.
Pinky's up.
Yeah, pinky's up. Yeah, Luchasaurus. Still coming out to the heel music, the heel attire, and the heel moveset. Something's not smelling right here.
He gave us a little bit, though, because Jungle Boy runs backstage to get at Christian, because Christian's, again, just saying, like, ha, 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 I can kick your ass. Jungle Boy goes, all the security is holding back Jungle Boy. Luchasaurus gets in there, and it's just like destruction. Now, again, we don't know why, but he does help Jungle Boy. So we'll see where this goes. I'm interested.
Yeah, I don't believe that all of a sudden, like Luchasaurus was just faking Christian. Now he's all face again. Always was face. It was all a ruse, but yet now he's going to wear the black. Now he's going to have the sinister moves. Now he's going to look like he's ready to eat people's fucking necks. So, like, I don't.
Right.
Yeah, there's still something coming here.
Something's coming. Another thing that has some intrigue to it, we get a backstage promo from Miro. Miro is talking about how he went to hell and it was empty because all the demons are here. Oh.
Yes.
And then Julia Hart walks up and touches his face, and he's like, only one woman does it, and that's not you. And then Miro says, tell the House of Black that the path to God is clear, and it goes through the House of Black. Now, the detail that was pointed out to me on Twitter that I really enjoyed is after he says all of this, and Julia Hart kind of smirks as like, we got him, Miro walks towards the light.
Mm-hmm.
He walks towards God, if we're saying.
Well, the thing I like too, when she was like, embrace the gift or whatever, and he was like, tell them thanks for the gift. He's like, I own it now, and I'm going to use it to kill them. I was like, holy shit.
Well, he calls them pagans, I think, right?
Yes.
He said, tell your pagans
mm-hmm.
that I accept their gift. So it's obvious that, like, this is a ends justify the means to him. He is just saying, I need to get to that. So I guess, somewhat to what Hangman did with the Dark Order, we thought, where it's, I need to get to the championship. So I guess I'll befriend these dorks in a little bit more sinister way. Miro saying, to get to God, I got to just pal around with these fucking idiots. And so let me get to that person. But again, he walked towards the light, which makes me think maybe there's a babyface turn down the road.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Interesting. This Miro thing is interesting. I like this character. Miro's in the news a lot, right? People are saying that he's, he liked to tweet about, not being used or whatever. I just, the creative freedom that we've gotten out of Miro here, right? Versus Rusev there. Even though Rusev there had some creative masterpieces, I do wish we could find a way to get him in like a higher spot, maybe. You know what I mean? Like the ultimate prize somehow involves the world title at some point, but I can't get enough of Miro on my TV.
That's where one criticism I would present to Tony Khan, if I ever got the chance to talk to him, is now that we're 3+ years into AEW, I would like to see a little bit more intermingling. For example, Miro's never even looked or been in a match against the Young Bucks. Now I know he's hurt, but like Kenny Omega and Powerhouse Hobbs, to the best of my knowledge, have had no interaction. Ricky Starks and John Moxley have had no interaction. So like, I get it. We're all friends, right? So Eddie Kingston and John Moxley are going to hang out in this little circle here. And the Young Bucks and Adam Cole are going to hang out in this circle here. But I want a little bit more meshing, because then Miro taking on a Kenny Omega would be fresh.
Well, The thing with Miro, though, too, for me is like, we're 3 years in. I know he was hurt for some of this, but Miro is the guy that can be on the Tonight Show and be entertaining and capture mainstream media attention. Him not having a world title run in 3 years is a bit odd to me. Again, I know he was hurt for a good chunk of that. So,
but that TNT run was awesome. He made the TNT championship. All respect to Brody Lee. All respect to any of the other TNT champions, but the best TNT champion, in my opinion, has been Miro. I think he's been absolutely awesome. Okay, so let's get back into it here. We get Mark Henry interviewing his son, Powerhouse Hobbs. And don't they look like they look related? It's like if Mark Henry went back 20 years, is Powerhouse Hobbs, or it's like Powerhouse Hobbs looking in the mirror of what his future is. It's like, this is you in about 26 years. But QT Marshall interrupts Powerhouse Hobbs. And the interesting thing here is Powerhouse Hobbs says, don't let your problems be my problems.
I haven't been watching the darks and the elevations, but this new look for Nick Camarado.
Oh, it's so fun.
I need more of this, right? If they're a little bit of this like Jersey, wannabe street gang, this QT Marshall group, we might actually make sure QT gets on the show.
We need to, or at least Nick Camarado gets on the show.
Dude, that looking like a damn, what was his name? Prince Albert, right? Looking like that. Love it.
Here's the other thing too that would be fun is if some type of heel team up through a financial transaction, you get Nick Camarado with the 2.0 guys, and they just have to do a trios match for, to get after the baby faces. Like, that would be hilarious just for a one-off.
This is way better than the caveman thing he had going on.
This is.
You didn't even say anything, but I already was like, all right, this is.
I
need some of this. Right?
Yeah. Then we get back into the ring. Jay Lethal, Sanjay Dutt, Satnam Singh make their entrance. Sanjay Dutt, for his credit, is absolutely fun. He is making every moment of TV count for him. He's in there. He's flexing like Wardlow. He's doing all the fun stuff. Jay Lethal is Jay Lethal. Satnam Singh is tall. And Wardlow comes down and he's like, all right, you want one more chance? But here's the thing. I'm beating all three of your asses. And so he makes his way down. And before he can make his way to the ring, his old Pinnacle pals come out. FTR and then they chase him off out of the ring. Here's my question to you. Maybe I'm reading too much into this. As I mentioned, old Pinnacle pals, FTR, Wardlow. What do you think about MJF?
Oh, man.
MJF. I'm not saying as a babyface. I'm just saying, what do you think if there's any interaction with, like, what were you doing hanging out with Wardlow, FTR?
Yeah, yes, because the Pinnacle I thought was still a thing, right? But the more time goes on, the more worried the MJF thing was real. You know what I mean? Like, they're putting in the long con to pull this work off.
Well, Tim, we got the biggest event of their year coming up that we're going to All Out.
I might fucking piss my pants. MJF comes rolling out at All Out.
And MJF to come out to cost the ex-WWE guys, CM Punk and John Moxley in the main event, is absolutely perfect. Because how do you book yourself out of that? One of the guys has to lose? No way. It's a smudge finish, and it's MJF, who fucking hates these WWF guys, that causes all of it.
You could even do this where it's not a schmoz finish. It's Tony Khan comes out and he's like, middle of the match, he's like, due to last second, like, he's a little upset, right? He's kind of like reading off a note. He's like, due to last second contractual negotiations, this is now a triple threat match. And then out walks MJF, right? They're laying there fucking dead to the world. He comes out and fucking whap, whap, bam, roll up, fucking title.
That's awesome. And then the one more detail that would just put it over the top is if Tony Khan, like, has the contract in his hand. He's like, will you finally sign it? And then MJF signs the contract, pushes it in his chest, and then walks his way into the ring. Oh, Tim, why are we so good at this?
We're
Anyhow,
too good at this. Yeah.
So yeah, FTR and Wardlow, they chase off Ring of Honor, and that's what we get from there. Then we get Tony Schiavone with the JAS, and the 2.0 guys are like, we're going to make history. It's going to be so great. And as kind of on par with her current character, Anna Jay's like, oh, you don't think that's true? I'm going to choke you out. And just grabs a girl and just starts choking her out.
Rolled it back from the week before. It worked last week. Why not try it again?
I didn't mind it.
Yeah, it was fine.
It was fine.
Yeah.
Let's get back into the ring here. Ricky Starks takes on Aaron Solo. Pretty quick match. Starks gets the victory. Pretty cool finish, I thought, though. The back spinning kick that he ducks and then running into a spear. 1, 2, 3. Ricky Starks gets the victory. Then here comes Cutie Marshall and the rest of them, and they're beating them up.
Fuckwads.
And the fuckwads. I like that. And Camarado tries to attack Ricky Starks with the chair. And then Starks runs into the crowd, says, ha, 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 I'm out of here. Then we cut backstage and Hobbs is pissed. Like, God damn it. Why didn't they take care of this guy? And breaks a TV. For no apparent, why did you have to break a TV? Come on, guys. What'd you think of this? What'd you think of Ricky Starks? What'd you think of Powerhouse Hobbs?
I mean, Ricky Starks still seems to have the world eating out of the palm of his hand. The crowd loves him. I kind of was like, I want Nick Camarado as Ricky Starks' bodyguard now. You know what I mean? Like his Bull Buchanan, if you will, right?
Yeah, he convinces him to leave the Fear Factory or the factory, whatever they're called. I like that.
And fine. I mean, we're gonna get a continuation of the Starks Hobbs thing, so.
Yeah, I still want a reason though. I still haven't heard.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell is your issue?
Right.
I get it. You don't like him. Okay, that's apparent. But like, why?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, then what?
Yeah. It just, I don't know. We need a little bit more there. Let's go backstage after Ricky Starks runs into the crowd. We get the Gun Club, the Ass Boys, whatever you want to call them. And Billy is like, you assholes. One thing that I loved about this is he's like, how did you ruin the only match I've made famous?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man,
he shit on himself while shitting on them. It was great. Great heel stuff.
But nothing worse than a dad's disappointment. I tell you what, that just sucks. Before he could really lay into him about how disappointed he is in them, here comes Stokely Hathaway. Stokely Hathaway's like, hey, Grandpa Ass, you got some insure over in
You got
catering.
some
Why don't you
balls
go
on
over
him.
there? Yeah. And
This
hands him
man
the
was
card.
2.5 times the size of Stokely Hathaway, and he's just
Stokely
like, yeah,
Hathaway
you're
knows
old.
what's
Go
up.
fucking.
Yeah, he knows what's up.
Yeah.
You but then Stokely Hathaway hands a card to the Ass Boys. Billy grabs it and says, no. And before again he could get right back into it, Danhausen shows up, which you saw. It looked like Billy Gunn got excited, like,
He did.
hey, this
Yeah.
fucking dork, And Danhausen says, hey, it's going to be him and the beard guy on Rampage. And so it's Beerhausen. It's going to
Yeah.
be Danhausen and Eric Redbeard taking on the Ass Boys. What do you think of this? What do you like about this?
I think I think the Ass Boys are ready to make the change and become like a featured tag team fighting for stuff. I think it's time to pull that trigger and let's call them the Ass Boys. Like, go through your whatever coming of age moment you're going to have there, whether it's fucking giving your daddy the fucking nut punch, healing over on him and fucking getting heel heat and calling yourselves the Ass Boys, or just leaning into it and going full like crowds into it, we're the Ass Boys. Like, pick one and let's roll with it.
Well, Tim, let's revisit our episode from last week, our conversation we had when we talked about Stokely Hathaway going through and handing out the cards and assembling this roster of kind of hodgepodge wrestlers here. And we got Lee Moriarty. Then we got Ethan Page. I thought there was room for one person. You made the comment, hey, there's room, it looks like, for two people there. Is it the Gun Club?
Could be.
Then you get the Gun Club. You get the Gun Club, Ethan Page, Lee Moriarty, and then I guess still by proxy, Jade Cargill.
I don't know that I like the Gun Club name.
Well, maybe Stokely Hathaway is a marketing guy, so maybe he rebrands them.
I'm telling you, it's got to be the Ass Boys. Again, think of the marketing, you know what I mean? Just the
they already have a T-shirt,
right?
Yeah,
the Ass Boys. Think of like the jokes a guy like Fallon's gonna do if you. Well, I think they're contractually tied to the WWE, aren't they? With
right.
The thing,
yeah,
you get what I mean, right? Like,
right.
If they have the Ass Boys,
the
Ass Boys. There's no other choice.
What do you think? You think they join Stokely, though?
I mean, yeah, I can see a way where he could pull that off, where I could marry him into that thing, right? Like, he's just giving him the speech I'm giving him. Like, listen, it's marketing, baby. Come on, right? Like, Gun Club, your dad's a joke, right? Like, so let's make him a joke. It's Ass Boys, right? Like, let's go fucking rip off his, imagery and likeness and make money off of his goddamn creation. Because fuck him, right? Like,
yeah.
And they're like, all right, fine, whatever, right? Like, you can do something like that. I think that's an interesting group, albeit I would imagine if Stokely Hathaway's leading these folks, it's more of like a Heenan family kind of thing where this isn't a faction.
They're not all friends.
We're not all friends, but like we'll help the boss when needed. You know what I mean? If he needs a run in, you know what I mean? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. We'll see what happens. All right, let's get into our first championship match for the night right before the main event. Because we got to get back on track here. It was the TBS Championship match. Champion Jade Cargill takes on Trainwreck Madison Rayne.
Footface.
Footface is still bad at wrestling. I don't care. What's it been, 15 years now? She needs another 15 because it was clunky and this wasn't good. We've seen Jade Cargill have good matches with inexperienced people like Anna Jay, like Tay Conti. And so for Madison Rayne to have 15 years and this be as clunky and as ugly and as stalled out as it was, and I'm not even a moves guy, right? Like, I don't care. You can throw right hands all the time and I'm fine with it. Eddie Kingston doesn't necessarily do swantons off the top rope and he's my favorite wrestler. So it's like, I'm not needing a lot here, but there was so much start, stop, hold, talking to each other, and it was just miserable. And she's the coach. Footface is the coach of this division. That is not a good sign. But Jade Cargill gets the win. So, what'd you think of the TBS Championship match?
I think some of the same things, right? It was clunky. It's whatever. Yeah, I'm hoping Madison Rayne is going to lean heavier on the promo classes, maybe, for these folks, than the in-ring stuff. I don't know.
What character does she have though? Did you see her walk to the ring?
Yeah.
She had a tiara and then
Yeah.
a skirt.
Yeah, I mean,
Is she a
I think she was
princess?
serviceable in her character work, though, in her Impact Wrestling days. You know what I mean? Like, I think
Look at
it's
this, Tim. Look at this,
Yeah.
Tim.
Yeah, look, I was not excited when I saw the news of like, oh, this is going to fix everything. So
I was actually thinking, okay, I don't know what she can do as a coach. Maybe her character, she was handcuffed because Impact maybe says you have to do A, B, and C, and she didn't like that. But her first impression in AEW, not a fan. And again, as a coach, you got a better one already. Her name's Serena Deeb. Make her the coach. We don't need Footface out here being your coach because she can't wrestle that well. Sorry. Actually, I'm not sorry. I mean it.
if I would have told you 9 years ago when we had our infamous, you didn't recognize the name Madison Rain moment, that we would 9 years later still be talking about this
I know! Worst. It's the worst. Why?
You can't get away from Madison Rain.
It's a curse of the Spanish announce table. So after the match, though, Kiera Hogan and Jade Cargill, they're putting the boots to old Footface here. And out of the crowd, or from wherever, comes Athena. And another character. Her wrestling, I will say, is not bad. I do like Athena's matches, and her finisher is badass. It's one of the best finishers visually in all of pro wrestling, man or woman. I think it's awesome. But I've told you this once, and I'll tell it to you again. I don't know what her character is. She seems to be a third of 10 different things. And just like in football, if you got two quarterbacks, you got none. If you got 10 different types of, well, she's a goddess, but then she's a fallen angel, but then she's a bratty, snapping black girl, but then she's kind of a white girl mall type. It's like, I don't know what the fuck you are.
Yeah, I think we might have made this correlation before, but I feel the same when I watch Sasha Banks with Athena, is that it feels like a cosplayer playing a wrestler, right?
Yes, and Barry, that's 100% spot on.
That's not to say, like, again, wrestling is fine, right? Like, better than average. Yep. Not to say that. It's just that, like, that's the feel of the character I get. The, like, it almost feels like a real life Bailey, right? Where it's like, in one moment, it's like, I'm just so happy to be here, but like, oh, I'm supposed to, it's camera now, I need to turn it on. And I don't know. It's always just not attached to me.
I agree. Mm-hmm. So we get backstage. Toni Storm, Thunder Rosa, they're with Tony Schiavone. We find out Toni Storm is back to being the number one contender because Chris Statlander's hurt. And they have this awkward interaction, Thunderstorm does, Toni Storm, Thunder Rosa, where essentially Toni Storm's like, hey, like my number one goal is that. And Thunder Rosa's like, yeah, I get it, but like, we'll talk about that later. Here's my conspiracy theory. Let's all put our tinfoil hats on here for a second.
Oh, I got mine right here.
Oh, there. Okay.
Right,
Give everyone a second who's listening on the podcast. All right. We ready? Go. I think it was Toni Storm who hurt Chris Statlander to become the number one contender.
Yeah, Toni Storm's. This is the beer money moment, right? Right?
As you recall, they lost the match because Toni Storm booty bombed her in the face accidentally. Maybe it wasn't an accident. I'm just saying.
I like
That'd be fun.
Yep.
It would be fun. Now let's get to the main event for the AEW Interim World Championship. It is champion Jon Moxley taking on Chris Jericho's version of Lionheart in this match. Whatever. Painmaker. I didn't get this. Side note. I didn't get this. Lionheart was supposed to be the, hey, everyone, I can do it by doing moonsaults and arm drags. And the first thing he does is flips off Jon Moxley. I'm not the biggest Chris Jericho fan, but I have followed his career for 30 plus years. I never have recalled Lionheart Chris Jericho flipping off anyone or ripping earrings out of people's heads. So I don't know, like, this was just name only as far as Chris Jericho wrestling as
Right.
someone.
It's like if you were playing 2K and you selected the outfit for 2K, of Lionheart, but like the moveset of the Painmaker, right?
Yeah.
Like you said, and made this weird Chris Jericho amalgamation.
I tell you what, Tim, AEW video games coming out soon.
Mm-hmm.
I would not be shocked if that is an option you have where, like, if you choose Chris
Downloadable
Jericho,
skins.
yeah, you could go Painmaker, Bubbly, what's the little bit of the Bubbly,
Yep.
Lionheart, all of this stuff, I wouldn't be shocked. That'd be something that probably happen. So this is, again, knockdown, drag out fight. We get one, some 1-2s to the face. We get a earring pulled out of someone's head. We get blood because Jon Moxley has to do it now in every match. And we get Jon Moxley winning with a rear naked choke. He captures the far arm for Chris Jericho. Good technique by Jon Moxley. Side note on there. And Jon Moxley gets the win. Chris Jericho taps out. Immediately after the match, though, Jericho's goons come out. They're kicking Moxley. BCC comes out. They're kicking Jericho's goons. More of Jericho's goons come out. So BCC, Eddie Kingston are outnumbered. And then the music hits. And as Katie said earlier in the episode, we get the return from injury of the true AEW champion, CM Punk. And he's knocking them down. He's beating up all the Jericho guys. Well, here's one here. Here's a how's your father? Hey, look at that. Suck my dick. And then here's you go outside the ring. And then we get the stare down between Jon Moxley and CM Punk. And we think it's just going to be cordial. But that ain't Jon Moxley's style. He gives him a middle finger and a shoulder check and walks out of the ring. Tim, the return of CM Punk. Your comments.
I'm excited for how this is going to play out, right? I mean, I still feel like we're going to get CM Punk's run, right? So I think he's going to win this feud, but it'll be an interesting storyline going into All Out. I'm sure this is where we're getting this, right? And I'm excited to see it live. I'm excited to see MJF come in and crash the party. Yeah, man. I'll give him this. I didn't expect this, right? This one was a shocker.
Yeah, and I will say, so now let's take a step back. So that was AEW Dynamite, Quake by the Lake. Thought it was a very good show. Obviously, you had some major moments here. Chief among them being the return of CM Punk, who comes to save the day, right? This is how I feel about AEW's reaction, though, to the wrestling world. It felt like WWE now with Triple H in charge, and we caught enough hell about this on our TikTok page, so I won't go into it again. But everyone, the belle of the ball was now WWE because Triple H is in charge of creative, and oh, woe is me, it's going to be the greatest day of all time because a new day has started, pun intended, right? So credit to AEW, you say, oh, okay, cool. Hey, remember the guy everyone loved, CM Punk? Well, that motherfucker's back. Oh, and then the best technical wrestler in the world, guess what? He's back next week in a 2 out of 3 falls match with your favorite indie darling, Daniel Garcia. Oh, and by the way, our WrestleMania is coming up in about 3 weeks. So here's this hand and here's this hand, and it can all go right there to sucking it. So, like, I like the reaction that it right there. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yes.
There.
I liked how AEW, and again, everyone knows I'm a little bit more biased to AEW because they haven't broke my heart yet, right? There hasn't been a huge flop besides the fireworks, but that's not their fault. That was just they didn't have a chance to do take 2. And so I'm a little bit more biased to AEW, but I liked how they didn't just go, well, I guess WWE's winning for this month. We'll just kind of cower away and lick our wounds and come back at it in the next quarter. Like, no, we're going at it right now. You want the Dexter Loomis? Is that your cool thing? Here's CM Punk. Oh, you got Karrion Kross? We got Bryan Danielson. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I'm excited. And speaking of that WWE thing, I mean, you hit the highlights there, but we are in now, week 1.5, week 2 of the Triple H is in charge. So we're seeing some of the band get back together, right? We get the Karrion Kross shows up. We get word is Johnny Gargano's been on the phone, right? Ciampa's getting main event time, or maybe not main event time, but he's getting main roster TV time. We get the Dexter Lumis thing, right?
Yeah. Quick side note though, shout out to Tommaso Ciampa in his United States Championship match against Bobby Lashley, walking out in the Harley Race robe. We're Kansas City. If you don't know, we love Harley Race. This is a Harley Race appreciation podcast. And so we appreciate Tommaso Ciampa giving a tip of the cap to old Harley Race. So shout out for him for at least doing that part. He did lose, but still, it was awesome to see that.
Harley Race Appreciation Podcast.
That's what this is, boy.
Yeah,
you got something to say? I'm going to hit you with the left hand. And if you're still standing up, I'm going to walk behind you and see what's holding you up. Quote Harley Race. One of the best quotes of all time. So yeah, let's talk about this. So now WWE. Karrion Kross. This is so Ron Funches, not to plug another podcast, but Ron Funches now does a pro wrestling podcast called One Fall. Yeah, he's done it for 2 weeks. Does it on Spotify Green Room. He takes calls. You can talk to him. I've talked to him 2 weeks in a row. We're friends. He's coming into town this weekend. We're going to hang out. No big deal. But he asked me my comments on Karrion Kross, and I said it there and I'll say it here. To me, the most infamous moment from Karrion Kross's NXT career was not winning the title or not beating all of them in a elimination match or whatever. It was Adam Cole eviscerating Karrion Kross and saying, like, you know why they're watching? It's because of me, not because of you. They like you. The crowd wants me. And like Karrion Kross had nothing to say. He just stood there and took it. He was like, I guess you're right. And so that's the most memorable moment to me of Karrion Kross.
Yeah.
And then now he's on the main roster wearing a biker jacket. And tell me the difference besides a girlfriend. I want anyone. Hashtag tweet the table. If you're on TikTok, we'll clip this. Comment down below. Tell me the difference between Karrion Kross and Damian Priest.
There isn't.
There
isn't. And I don't. Yeah. I look, it's not our style to be spooky-ish, right? You and I personally, it's not our thing.
Yeah.
But I also just think like he's not pulling it off that great. I think he's a bit overacting, which again, it's pro wrestling, so that feels weird.
Well, I think she's overacting. She is
as well. Yes. And so I've never gotten into it. I know like he attacked Drew McIntyre, but did you see the Drew McIntyre tweet where he's like, did I just get jumped by a guy that when I last saw wearing bondage and a helmet? It's like, I've had worse, or he's like, I've had better days.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the other thing too, is he comes back and hair or no hair, that's besides the point. Yeah. But he comes back in a jacket and a t-shirt. And so again, my mind goes to Damian Priest when we couldn't find out what he was. Was he hanging out with chicks in the back of a car after winning the US title? Or was he doing the bow and arrow and the lights go out and he's spooky Damian Priest, right? So same thing with Karrion Kross. And here's the second thing I'll say about Triple H leading creative. I liked 100% the storytelling in this Monday Night Raw with the car crash, ambulance at the very end. It's Dexter Lumis. I think Dexter Lumis is kind of one note. And after you play that one note, I'm tired of it. But still, the episode of Monday Night Raw of his story was great.
Well, the unique of this storytelling aspect that we haven't got with WWE for the last 40 years is there was subtlety in this one. It wasn't like, what is the car crash? What is that behind going? Like, the ping you on the head with it, like, make sure you look at this, make sure you look at this, make sure you look at this, make sure you look at this. That seemed to be missing from this, at least this particular storyline that they were telling.
So I loved it. And I thought it was great. 10 out of 10 for that specific story. But this has been my concern ever since they said Triple H was going to be in charge of creative. And I told you this, I think, off air, but I'll say it on the podcast now. Triple H does amazing storytelling when he was in NXT. But he had the benefit of, hey, I told the story of Kevin Owens. I told the story of Finn Balor. And now they can graduate to the main roster. And right behind them, I'm going to bring up Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, right? Like that's what he would do. He would tell that one story for as long as it took, and then push them to the main roster, and then immediately bring in the next one ready-made because they were in the mid-card. And it was awesome, and takeovers were great. 100% we all loved this. Now it's a different story. After you tell that one great story from Damian Priest or whoever that person is, what's your next story for him? Because you can't just move them up to the main roster. And let's not forget, for as much as Tommaso Ciampa, Johnny Gargano was an amazing NXT rivalry, and it was, they also did an empty arena match where no one fucking liked it. And we all kept saying, oh, they're running this back again. And so my concern is, I guess it's kind of, I'll use another sports analogy. It's do it in the playoffs, do it in the Super Bowl, right? Cool. You're doing this stuff in NXT. That's the regular season. We have all the benefits of not really being watched or moving people to the main roster, all that stuff. Now the lights are the brightest. Do it now. And so I'm not saying he can't. I'm just saying I'm not jumping on that bandwagon until I see some proof that we get 3 months after a storyline is finished for wrestler X and we get their second story and we can continue some stuff here.
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same way with the whole Triple H scenario. It's like, yes, there's some changes, but there's only so much I think you can change given some of the parameters. Like you're saying, this is the longest running show in Broadway, and you're going to have to use that same character 15 more times. And if they're not bringing some new ideas to the table, it's on you. And it's hard to be good every time you spit out an idea. So I think that by nature, we're going to get some of the same characteristics of like, oh, they're running the same thing back again because, I mean, you try it, right? Like, so
it's hard.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
And yes, we've sprinkled some differences. We've got, 5 to 7 people back now, and right, like
subtlety,
right? So, I'm willing to give it time. I'm checking it out more now, right? And we'll see how it goes. But I don't have the highest of hopes, but I'm like, there's some mild improvement here.
Yes, I will say, like, it is more enjoyable now to watch an episode of Monday Night Raw than it was 6 months ago when I stopped watching, right? When I stopped watching that episode compared to the episode I watched on Monday, it was a more enjoyable experience. I guess I would just like to tell everyone to just like calm. You can calm down. Again, you can get excited about storylines, right? Like we did with the Young Bucks and Hangman and this trios tournament and all that stuff. But that's in the moment. What's going to happen? All this is fun. In no way, though, are we going to be like, you know what the greatest thing of the year is going to be? This trios tournament. This is easily going to be the greatest thing of the year. Look what they just did there. They just told subtlety with Hangman and the Young Bucks. We said, oh, this could be fun. This is going to be interesting. But let's go back to a tried and true phrase here at Spanish Announce Table. We were positive and patient. And that's what I would coach all of the IWC to be with Triple H. As it seems great, he is doing some different things that have been enjoyable. But let's just be positive and patient before we crown Triple H as the greatest mind in pro wrestling. That's all.
I can't think of a better way to end it. Everybody just needs to be positive and patient.
The Spanish Announce Table.